Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that magic moment has arrived once again. The Bill Crane Report is on the air. I'm Bill Crane, and with me is my good friend,
In spite of all your prayers, we came back.
We did. Let me tell you, Dwayne, I have got a sniff of glue going into this show that isn't going to stop.
All right, go ahead. What is it?
Man, I'm just furious with everything. So much so that I may just scrub some of the vaudeville moments that we usually do. But there's one that I really have got to address. Are you sick and tired of seeing the ads on TV that you can buy this fiberglass shell and pop it into your shower and bath and just convert it all over just instantly? And it works beautifully.
I just bought one.
Oh, you bought one?
No.
Well, you know, I don't have any real...
Is that the one where they don't replace it? They just put another shell over the top?
Now, I don't have any problem with it not being a nice deal. It's expensive, nice deal, and all that stuff. What I am concerned with is, why do they always show the women in the shower with a bathrobe on?
You know...
What's behind this? How do they ever get clean if they get in the shower with a bathrobe on?
That's a good question. You know, they always, even those walk-in tubs, they always get in dressed.
Yeah.
I said, what? I said that one night to my wife. I said, look at these fools are taking their baths dressed. Yep. She says, oh, don't be stupid. She says, you know. But
and you allow language like that in your house?
I'd ignore it.
Oh.
But I know an ad that didn't do that, and it was very successful.
What?
Back, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I was at the National Hardware Show, and it was in Chicago that year, or New York, I'm not sure. They switched around. And I was with Stanley, and then there was somebody else, and Kohler, the bathroom fixture people, had a big booth. And the thing opened up, and I know, Black & Decker was next to me. And the guy from Black & Decker says, what the hell are they doing down there? He says, they got a crowd. Did you notice that? I says, yeah. It opened up this morning. I said, God, they got them 10 deep. He said, what are they doing? I said, I don't know. I think we should go down and look. They had a loop film, a screen of a woman in the shower with no clothes on.
Lordy.
I mean, it was visible from waist on up, but did that thing draw a crowd?
When I was with Foxborough,
I said, there's a company that's got a lot of guts, but they're doing exactly what they wanted to do, and that was to draw attention.
When I was with Foxborough, a conservative company, surprisingly enough, the support people that we brought to the shows were three beautiful young ladies.
Oh, yeah.
And they were in the booth with us. They wouldn't know a DP cell if it bit them in the butt.
No.
But they were there to smile and say, hello, how are you today? Would you like to speak to one of our technical people? Or, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to sign up for a mailing? Or, yeah, good-looking girls work every time. Yeah.
We had one time, we had Mickey Mantle.
Oh, that was true.
In our booth. We drew a lot of attention, but somebody had to monitor him all the time. You had to stay with him because he was always drunk. And he was foul-mouthed with these women. The women would come in.
Mickey Mantle has one of the great quotes of all times on his 65th birthday. If I had known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself. Yeah. He was brutal.
Yep. So somebody from the company you had to stand next to him all the time.
Dwayne, there's a lot of serious things. One thing today, I'm going to move it to the head of the heap here. before we get into all the other accumulation, and that is Mitch McConnell had another freeze up.
Yeah, I saw that in the news
30
last night.
seconds, yeah. Now, a doctor, a neurologist came on and said that it's, he didn't, doctors won't commit
Yeah,
to anything.
of course not.
But he said it's not a stroke, okay? It is what he described as a focal seizure and could very possibly been caused by the concussion he had this spring.
Yeah,
But he's 80 years old.
he's been falling down too.
Yeah, well, now he had polio as a youth.
Okay, I didn't know.
So he doesn't walk well. So a combination of aging and the polio. See, he tries to walk, but he's got a herky-jerky kind of walk. And
You gotta feel sorry for the man.
yeah.
He's just trying so hard.
yeah, he's overcome a lot in his life. And he's a decent guy. If a politician can be a decent guy.
Yeah,
Hey,
he
you know,
is.
anyway. But you look at him, you look at Dianne Feinstein, who, listen, for all intents and purposes is just she's a shadow of her former self going
She's
through the motions.
2 steps over the being vegetative.
Yeah, really. I didn't want to say that. I'm glad you said it. Because they have to tell her what to say.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you've got Biden, who they had a clip of earlier this week, up by the podium, just standing there lost.
Yeah.
Didn't know where to go or what to say or what to do.
There is no excuse. Because
Isn't.
you say, well, you can't discriminate against baloney. We discriminate every day in practically every profession with age. An airline pilot
Absolutely.
has
65.
to retire at 65.
Yeah. And it used to be 55.
Air traffic control, 60. Some other things, 60, 65.
Yeah. You've
on.
got, you know what? Fire department, firemen
Yeah.
used to have to go at either 50 or 55. Well, we're losing a lot of good guys and all that. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. You know, when you're out there fighting a fire, you don't want some candidate for a heart attack with you.
No, like you or I
Yeah.
standing out there.
And we changed it. They changed it to 65.
We don't have any trouble with that.
That's wrong.
But the certain things like politics, you think they're going to live forever. Well, they're not.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you think that, and I've said this before, and I've got an article that I would have written as an editorial, and someday I'll talk about it on the show. But it's like I'm coming up to 83. Okay, so I have some thoughts on being 83, and some thoughts on what a president who is 83 faces. You know, I can make decisions, okay, but I cannot keep 12 balls in the air.
No, none of us can anymore.
When I was working, I was in product sales, and I was a product expert on control valves. Well, I had a guy working with me that was absolutely useless. All he wanted to do was talk to every woman that came into our office or walked by in the aisle. That's all. He was a hound dog. And after talking to his wife on the phone a couple of times, I can understand that. But I would field, one day I fielded 66 phone calls from customers or field salespeople or suppliers that required me to get involved and make a decision or something like that. I can't do that now.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it then. In fact, my boss went through the roof when he asked me, do you keep track of how many calls you get a day? I said, strangely enough, yeah. I just go that on a piece of paper. what do you get? 20? Do you get 25? I said, 25? I said, here's the piece of paper. I had it in my desk drawer. He's 66. He goes, what? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I said, it's Bob. The phone rings. I answer it. Okay? I'm a one-man gang here.
Yeah.
And he said, Gil doesn't. I said, come on now. You know. So, but I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I get trouble keeping two balls in the air.
I used to tell my inside salesman, particularly, that it was a constant telephone thing. Keep a short little log. It doesn't have to be much. Just so and so called.
A name and a phone number.
Yeah. Name. Well, we knew their phone number. Just name, once, whatever. Just because you're going to forget. You're going to hit that thing, and you're going to say, I'll take care of that, and then the phone's going to ring, you go over here, and you're going to forget this guy, you're going to forget. By the end of the day, you're going to miss 3 or 4 people that you didn't, just a little something to remind them. I still do that. Me too.
Pads of paper.
I got notes all over the kitchen table. She says, why do you scribble all this stuff? I said, because I won't remember it if I do.
I write down the name, phone number, problem, or solution, or what. And then over here in the box, and as I had a chance when the phone wasn't ringing, I'd pick another slip out.
I admit, there were times when I'd pick it up and say, Kaufman Industrial, what the hell did they want? I forgot. I didn't write enough but at least I knew enough to call them back. But then I'd pretend I was just calling back for the problem and let them tell me again what it was.
So what we're talking about here, folks, is a microcosm of what the president faces.
Yep.
Or the Speaker of the House, or a key advisor to the president faces. Just multiple problems. And you've got to keep them balls in the air. You can't let them hit the ground, otherwise you're in deep doo-doo. Dwayne, yes, I got question. Topic number 1.
Yes.
The Patriots.
Okay. I thought you were going to start with the Sox. Gee.
This is the only light thing I have. Everything else is horror shows.
Okay.
Prediction. 9 wins, 8 losses, or 10 wins, 7 losses. And I'm going towards the 10 wins.
17 games this year, right?
I'm going towards 10 and 7.
Okay.
But
you're not going to like this.
But do you know what the MGM line is on the Patriots?
No.
Over and under?
No.
6.5. They don't think the Patriots have much of a chance to do anything.
My friend, I'm picking 4 and 13.
Whoa, Dwayne, 4 and 13.
So when you said, I said, I can't see it.
Well, I made some notes. Good stuff.
Okay.
Mac Jones, how will he mature? He's now got a real offensive coordinator.
Yep.
My comparison, and I have said this before and I've told my boys, so I do have somebody that will agree here. Think about Bart Starr.
Okay, yep, Green Bay Packers.
Yep. Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is the same size as Bart Starr.
Now, I don't have any problem with Jones.
Okay.
I think he's going to be a very good quarterback.
I agree.
The problem I see is the overall team and the competition. Jones is a good quarterback. I don't think I've ever seen as many great quarterbacks coming up. You can almost pick a team, and they got a superstar coming.
The most of the superstars, too, are the running quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, the kid up in Buffalo.
Yeah, the day that they just stand there and throw it, go on.
Yeah.
I mean, Josh Allen, he can run like a running back.
You say that, but yet they draft the stationary ones.
Yeah, they do.
And if they've got a good arm, and if they got it up here,
And they got a good offensive line in front of them.
you build an offense around
Yeah.
them. Yeah. Billy O'Brien, by the way, I predicted they would hire him a year ago.
Yep.
He's going to make Mac Jones really develop into a
Yeah,
quarterback.
I think he's got some. They got some good coaching staff now.
And you know what? He's going to do it by kicking his butt,
Yeah.
as well as working with them on plays and what they're attempting to accomplish. I think the running backs are strong. Ramonde Stevenson and Zeke Elliott. But they waived the other running backs. So obviously they're going to pick up a couple.
I personally can't stand Zeke Elliott. That's just me, and I hope he performs well.
Well,
And if he turns out to be a pain in the butt, they got to get rid of him.
well, they do. You're absolutely right. But you know what? There was no one clamoring for him. He was sitting home
Oh yeah.
watching the soaps on TV, hoping like hell somebody would give him something.
Yep.
There's a couple of strengths. He can block. He also can catch swing passes.
Yeah, he can. He's a talented
And
individual.
and he's a short yardage kind of guy.
Yeah, and
that'll
needs
grind it out.
A lot of times he needs an attitude adjustment.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's all that. But you know what? I have a hunch that Belichick can work with him.
Well, if Belichick can't work him, nobody can.
That's right.
He, for all of Belichick's talents, taking a piece of coal and turning it into a diamond, that's one of his
Absolutely.
fortes. Look over the years how he's done that with.
You name him.
Yeah.
And he's picked these guys up.
Yep.
And who heard of this guy? Who heard of that guy?
Once in a while, you get a
a clunker.
dud that you can't. Nobody
Yep.
can do anything with.
I like the defensive line and the linebackers and the secondary. I like the whole defense.
Yeah.
My problems are one of the areas is the tight ends. They got two tight ends, and to describe them as ordinary would probably be overrating them. But you know what? He's going to pick a couple of pieces up. And the wide receivers, I like the looks of those two rookies, Douglas and Butte.
Plus, he managed to keep the two backup quarterbacks.
He signed them back on.
Got him back into the
because nobody would take
nobody
them.
would take them. They weren't picked up.
Which shows you just about how much they're both worth.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but they know the playbook.
Yeah, and they're there if you
Yeah.
need them. That's it.
And
Plus,
I
Kraft saves a bunch of money doing
did
that.
they. I haven't looked at the roster this morning, but did they re-sign J.J. Taylor,
I don't know.
the little tiny little scat back? Yeah, I was hoping they'd keep him.
But they usually want to keep one of those guys.
Yeah.
Because he's the little mole that goes underneath the legs and stuff. And it's surprisingly he's effective. Because one time we were watching, I don't know what game it was, and they had this guy. He was only look at this, and I said, "What's he doing playing football?" I said, "Watch him. He can get into places that nobody else.
That's
They
right.
won't even see him coming."
Yeah. Well, Taylor showed well in the preseason games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the open field, he's extremely dangerous.
Yep.
But Zappe was the big disappointment to me.
Yeah, he was everybody's hope. He was going to be the rising star that was going to.
And I don't know what that's all about. It's got to do with the hatred of Mac Jones, because that wasn't what the real fans wanted Belichick to do. You know.
I don't think the real fans ever get a voice. It's the media that controls all this.
Exactly right. And the media hates Belichick.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because Belichick is smart. And Belichick will not take any of them into his confidence.
No.
Because he knows reporters do what? They report.
And they ask stupid questions, and he doesn't tolerate that.
Yeah. And there was one reporter that was interviewed, and she was very frustrated with Belichick. And somebody, the guy that was interviewing her, what's the big problem? He won't tell us anything.
Yeah. Why the hell should he tell you something?
Well, yeah, why don't we? Well, you know what? Why don't we put the game plan up
That's
on
what
the internet?
That's what I said that time. I said, do you expect him to show you, here's the game plan. This is what we're going to do on third down and long. This is what we're going to do on second down.
But see what ruined things? Will McDonough.
Yep.
Remember Will McDonough?
I remember him.
The writer? He buddied up to the coaches. They liked him, and they trusted him.
Yeah.
And he never betrayed
That trust.
their trust.
Yep.
And everybody said, why can't I be the next Will McDonough? Because you got diarrhea of the mouth. That's why.
Well, they're so set on getting a scoop over some other reporter that they'll report stuff that they shouldn't report.
That's right, exactly. And a couple of them have got fired for it. But the other thing, too, is they live just and pray that at the next press conference they can catch Belichick in a mistake
Yep.
and hammer him.
And they're going to get the lead on the sports show.
Boy, oh
yeah.
boy. And
That's a vicious occupation, you know.
and it never happens.
Yeah.
Because they can stand up there and talk to him until the cows come home and they're not going to outsmart him.
My favorite moment with Belichick is if one of them Nimrods asks a stupid question and he stands there and goes, kind of like shakes his head and gives us some smart answer and goes on. Like, how stupid are you?
He's an amazing man. So, all right, so I'm online for 10 wins and 7 losses,
10-7.
I think.
All right. Okay.
By the way, I am going to go to Plain Ridge and wager a bob or two on the over-under.
Okay. Have you been in there?
No. Well, I've been in Plain Ridge
Oh, okay.
quite a few times. I go over there for the horses.
For the horses?
Yeah.
Okay. But you've not been on the gambling floor?
No.
Well, just use my name.
Okay.
Well, you want to tell them you know me. We've been there now for, oh my God, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Oh, wow.
They're calling to see if everything's okay.
Yeah. You okay?
They said the end of the month's coming around. We need your money.
So you watched the debate,
Yeah,
the Republican debate.
I certainly did.
What I did, folks, is I jotted down the names of everybody in the debate, and for lack of something better to do, I jotted down a sentence or two about them and their performance. And I asked Dwayne to do the same thing.
Yeah, I just had ideas about each
Yeah.
one.
So, what did you think of DeSantis?
I gave him a mixed grade. I like some of his ideas, and some of them they won't fly. He has to tone down the rhetoric in that not only are your because you got to remember, this is a presidential candidate contest. Okay, you can call it what you want, it's still a contest. And it still comes down to a personality contest. If you come off as debative, ornery, combative,
Also, ultra, and I am conservative.
yeah,
If you come across as a caveman,
yeah, exactly.
you are dead.
That's right. Regardless, if you got the best program out there,
Yep.
you've got to sell yourself. You got to put on the movie star
Yeah.
celebrity head.
However, DeSantis, I think, would say, "Look at my record in Florida.
That's right.
They love me. I can win by 30% down
But that's
there."
Florida.
that's Florida is
Yeah.
right. But he'll also say, yes, but I'm carrying South Florida, all the retirees.
Yeah.
I'm carrying the Jewish vote. I am carrying minorities. I'm carrying everybody. And he's got some magic going in
Oh,
Florida.
there's no question
but
about it.
I don't think it can be transferred
Translates.
across the entire country.
It does not.
Now, there's a couple of other places it'll work, but
Some of those things that, like, there's no gain to fight with Disney. It may be in Florida, on taxes and different stuff, but it doesn't going to translate in Missouri or some other Southern California or someplace else. They see Disney as Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and everything
well,
else.
of course, they got a Disney out there in
Yeah, well, I
California
mean,
too.
any
Yeah.
rest of the country.
Right.
There's no sense in. There's no winning fighting with right or wrong.
If he can portray it as a fight against woke, then that's okay. But Mickey Mouse will win.
That's who they see. They don't see woke.
Yeah.
Most people. I don't think that there's 10% of the population. If you said woke, they say, what are you talking about? Woke.
Yeah.
They have no idea what woke is. They don't care.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. I've got DeSantis, stilted talker,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
aggressive,
Aggressive. Yep.
but comes across as a good guy, genuine.
Yeah. No question about it.
Yeah.
I
And
think
you know what?
he made a lot of points now with the hurricane.
Yeah.
He did what he was supposed to do. He came across as compassionate. He made points on that.
Yeah. And it didn't take him 2 weeks to go to
No,
Maui.
no, and he's a smart guy.
That's right.
He's very smart. He's a Annapolis or West Point? Annapolis graduate. I think.
Annapolis, I think. Yeah. Navy SEAL.
Navy, yeah.
I don't know
Navy
whether-
JAG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, he's he's got a hell of a resume.
Yeah, he does. There's no question about
And
it.
you know what?
He's got probably the strongest resume of anybody up there.
I think so. And he's got a hell of a resume built around what he's done in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
The
no
thing
question about that.
with him, though, he's a man's man.
Mhm.
Okay? Now that turns on certain people
And off certain other people.
and
though.
off other people. However, there is a large percentage of the female population who still like man's men.
Oh, there's a large percent of women's population vote for the prettiest guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no question about that.
Ramaswamy.
I don't know. He is. What in the hell's he doing up there?
Yeah,
He's-
you know, I wrote down failed to contact with me.
Yeah, he's.
A talk machine. Some very good ideas, but is there substance there or is he just a squawk machine?
I saw him as a guy that using his assets to, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
I want to become famous.
Yeah.
And how do I become famous?
I'll tell you what his strength is, Dwayne. One-on-one interviews
Oh, I'm sure.
where he doesn't have to dominate other people to get
You're
his
right.
point across.
He is a good one-on-one
Yeah,
person.
excellent. And he's got a lot of good ideas. He's also got some wacky ideas.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I kind of dismissed him as a.
Yeah, I don't think he's electable. I really don't. How about Mike Pence?
Pence, in my view,
Yeah,
came up a few points on that. Pence, I always saw as a spineless little weasel. That if Trump said "lick my shoes," he was right down on the floor licking them. He wouldn't speak for himself. This time, he started to stand up and speak for himself, and when he does, the man's got potential.
straightforward and an honest man. Dull and colorless,
Oh, there's no question about that.
but a man of substance.
And I think he's honest.
But he's unelectable.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? You say he was a bootlicker, but you know what? There is no other role he could do.
Yeah.
I mean,
With
Trump pulled all the oxygen out of the room.
That's right. He was so dominant.
And he really, the best thing he could do for the country is say, Mr. President, what can I do to help you?
But now
and that is what went on behind closed doors.
You're right.
But he doesn't project himself well, except for conservative of us that are still decent people that appreciate the fact that he's a decent man. Tim Scott.
I don't have a lot of yay or day on Scott. I don't really know much about him background. I'm not sure if he's running on the fact that he's black, and I think that has something to do with his support. But other than that, I have nothing on him. I don't. He's kind of just a neutral person there.
I wrote down quite a guy, honest and likable.
Yeah,
no real plans or thrust. Very strong in his religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Is he angling for vice president?
Very likely.
And he's very articulate.
Oh yeah, he's a.
He might make a dandy running mate. Not for Trump, but for DeSantis.
Yeah. You're right, because he's going to cover two different aspects of the voters.
Yep. But policy stuff, he never talked about policy stuff. He talked about his personal beliefs and stuff like, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it gives us a bit of a picture. But
he's an all-around decent guy.
Yep.
So far, he has not thrown the race card in it.
No. And I don't think he will.
He won't, but somebody else, the other supporters will.
Well, maybe, yeah. Nikki Haley.
She was better than I thought she was going to be. She looks kind of, her ads are like a high school kid wrote them.
Maybe that's true.
Maybe they are. You know, come on. We are going to do this with China, and they won't even know what hit them. Well, come on, dude. That tripe stuff, that ain't going to help you any. But she's a smart lady. And
a lot of good experience, too.
Yeah, she's got a lot of experience behind her. She's just not presenting. She's not a presenter real strong.
Interesting. Nikki Haley didn't push any of my buttons. Tough, smart, and experienced. Could be a vice president candidate.
That was my extent. She'd make a very good vice president.
Yeah.
Because she's aware of stuff, not like the one we giggles.
Oh.
She doesn't know what's going on.
No, she doesn't really. You know, Haley got some editorials this morning in some of the newspapers that, you read about these leaks. Well, they're not leaks. They put the stuff out there and say, here's a leak for you. But the leak is that the Democrats are worried about her. Well, I don't know what the hell they're worried about. I don't think she's going to get the nomination. I don't see any path to her getting the nomination. Unless Donald Trump ends up in prison, DeSantis ends up being kidnapped by the Indians, Ramaswamy talks himself silly and is put away. I mean, let's face it, I don't see where she's going to go any place. However, the vice presidency, she could be very attractive in that position, not looks-wise. But
she or Scott could sit in that vice presidency, not I'm not saying that they're not qualified to be president.
Right.
But I'm looking at this as if I was a strategist, and where would I put my chess pieces?
They have to be electable.
Yeah, electable. Within this personality comes into what you look like, what you sound like, etc. I could see filling up the vice presidency with either one of those two, either Haley or Scott.
Yep.
Because number one, you got a very presentable person. Number two, you're going to pull in another demographic, whether it be race or sex, into that electability aspect of it.
Yep.
And number three, they are capable if they have to step into the role.
They are capable is right.
See, right now we got one that's in there
That belongs in loony bin
because
somewhere.
she's female, black, and a minority heritage. Nothing on qualification
Nothing.
whatsoever.
Nothing.
And that's what you don't want in a vice president. Now, I know vice president as vice president is kind of an honorary position, but it can go from honorary to one hell of a responsibility quick.
Ask Harry Truman will tell you that.
That's right. Harry did. Well, he didn't know anything was going on. They kept him out of the loop.
Jerry Ford too.
Yeah.
And then we're faced with Christie, Burgum, and Hutchinson, and you can just take all three of them and say a waste of space.
No, I disagree on that one.
Okay.
I think he's probably not electable, but I think Christie is probably one of the most honest and good ideas up there. I would trust him as president. Hutchinson, another one. I would trust him. The other two, the
other one, Burgum.
the guy from South Dakota.
Yeah, Burgum.
Yeah, somebody's got to tell him. Well, I'm going to go by mostly his ads. That it doesn't matter how much oil North Dakota has, we can't use it. So don't say, well, we're pumping so much oil, but yet we're importing oil. We haven't built a refinery since 1967. We can't process it. We have to ship it out. And there's no, I don't care how much we produce, it's not going to change. It goes in the world market.
Yeah. Absolutely.
A good thing for him would be able to stand up there and say, North Dakota, not always pumping oil, we're building 3 new refineries.
That's it. Well, no one wants a refinery.
That's right. No one wants it in their backyard.
That's right. And I'll tell you, for an old valve salesman, they're like gold to the refineries.
Yep.
Man alive. But they are big polluters. It's a dirty industry.
The other one, that first ad he ran, he's doing a fence. That's the most god-awful fence I've ever seen. I know he's not supposed to be able to make a fence, but not something that looked like a kid built it, hanging this one hanging over here.
You know what he did? He made a big mistake. He thought that he would build this ad around the people of South Dakota.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this was a good ad for the
I'm a good
people
old
in
Western
South
cowboy
Dakota.
guy.
Yeah,
I'm tough.
but I got to tell you something. Down in Georgia
That don't
or up
sell.
in Maine, that's a joke.
New
his
Jersey?
ads. Yeah.
That ain't going to sell.
And Hutchinson was just a windbag.
Yeah, I nobody knows much about him.
No. So anyway,
All in all, it was interesting, but here's the but of the whole thing. They wasted it. CBS, it was CBS, yeah, that ran it. Or was it Fox? Fox ran it. They wasted the whole damn thing. You know how?
go ahead.
With an audience. What'd they first thing get? Everybody cheering and whistling and standing. It's not a rally. It's not a political rally. It's a political debate. Shut up. Don't open your mouth if you're not on the stage. Finally, who was it?
Brett Baer.
He had to turn around and say, hey, we can't continue this way.
Yeah.
We're not going to get it through if you don't shut up. But they still kept going. I think these damn debates should be no audience.
Yeah, I agree with you totally.
There's no reason to have these audiences whistle and yell and scream and
And
boo.
not only that, but the people that are debating play to the audience.
That's right.
Yeah, I can get them roaring now if I say this.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
we'll 5 minutes later, we're still
Yeah.
screaming and yelling stuff out.
I gave Brett Baer an okay. He's
Yeah.
smart. Martha McCallum came across as very cold, very
Yeah.
stiff.
Overpowering for beer
Yeah,
sometimes.
not friendly.
No, not at all.
No, all business.
Yeah.
Well,
Now, I think on those debates, set the tone first and stick with it.
now,
If you don't answer the question and go on and on and on, boop, you're shut off. Aren't
that's
you,
right.
guy?
And you've got to be able to shut the mics off.
That's what I mean.
That's
Just
right.
shut him right
Yep.
out. That guy can stand there and flap his mouth and nobody's going to hear him.
Fox revealed who is going to be the moderator of the second debate.
Who?
Um,
Not that woman again, is it?
no, Stuart Varney, that's on from 9 to 12 on Fox
I don't know the
Financial.
names. Oh, Fox. I don't. Stuart. I don't. I probably see it. I'm
you've seen
terrible.
it.
I'm terrible with names.
Well, Stuart is British,
Mm-hmm.
been in this country 50 years, is total flag waving American, but his best days are behind him, and he's not strong. I don't think this is going to work out well. You need Brett Baer to do it again.
Yeah, Brett was good.
Yeah,
If they just wouldn't have put the damned audience in
that's
there.
right. And you don't need two people. Oh, but you got to have a woman
you
with
don't need
them.
two
And,
Another thing they gotta set the rules up front, and this is it. There's going to be no, well, I let you go. Well, then at the time you get to the fourth guy, the first three of you have violated the time laws or whatever it was.
and then the fourth guy says, "You're shutting me off after you let these
them
three
guys go,
ramble
that's
on."
right.
Yeah. Oh,
You
I
start
know.
that right in the beginning and stop it.
Yeah.
You could have a decent debate. But that for a while was not a debate. It was a rally.
It was. You're right. You're right. I thought it was educational.
Yeah.
I thought it was
For what-
informative. I thought we got to look at their personalities.
Yeah, but see, I see a 2-hour program like that with that format and the audience. You probably got 40 minutes.
Yep.
The rest of it was all wasted.
Yep. Yep. And it was wasted too by them playing to the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
And all that stuff. Yeah. So,
I do think I give Christie a lot of credit for bringing Trump to task for not being there.
that's the only reason he was on. That's the only reason he's running, is because Trump dissed him. So now
Yep.
he's going to return the favor.
To me, it's inexcusable Trump didn't show. It proves a lot. It says a lot. It says that he doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything except him getting elected. There's no program that I'm interested in. I'm just interested in me. The hell with the rest of you.
Job one is
Yep.
me getting elected. Yeah. Just a couple of notes.
Yep.
Consumer experts will be at a meeting with Kamala Harris to discuss AI. So this is the Procter and Gamble's and the IBMs of the world all coming to sit down with the vice president for an AI meeting to discuss how AI is going to affect them. They might as well have had you and I
I was
there.
going to say, what the hell does she know about AI?
Sure.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
You and I don't know anything about it.
So we're on the even ground with her. Oh no, we're miles ahead of her.
I think very few people understand what AI even is.
That's right. Yeah. You know what? We ought to talk about that next time.
All right.
AI.
It's good.
That would be good.
And it's gonna affect.
It's going to affect us all.
It'll affect you and I some.
Some.
Our kids a lot, and
lot.
our grandkids.
And the
tremendous.
future, who knows?
Who knows? It's going to change everything,
It could.
good or
Yep.
bad.
All right. So here's a very serious thing here, and then we're going to stop this and really get on to things. There's two things I'm going to say. All right. Oh, three. Angie.com
Yeah,
is a
I know that.
website where you can call up and get advice on what happens when
Or something fixed or repaired.
Yeah. Angie herself, this company, Angie.com, is spending $10 million to rehabilitate Kamala Harris.
Okay.
They publicized that they were doing that. It's going to take a hell of a lot more than $10 million to
Yeah, I don't think that.
straighten that young lady out.
Well, you can't straighten somebody out.
No.
You could just change their clothes, make them look different.
Yeah, if possible, take the rough edges off.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah. Okay.
Like dressing me in a Pope outfit,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
And I make the image, but I don't make the man.
Well said. Folks, you don't get this on national TV.
No.
This sort of just.
That's some of that Midwest philosophy stuff.
That's it. Here's something for you, buddy.
What?
60% of Americans do not have $500 in the bank.
I've heard that before. They couldn't figure. They can't handle a $400 unknown bill.
Bill,
It was 400 then. It's
All
kind of
right.
it's kind of scary, but it's true.
here's the deal.
I
I've got a little questionnaire for you.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
hope you're in
I don't know the
in
answer. So
sharp form this morning.
if I don't have a cheat sheet in front of me, I don't know anything.
President Biden said. Survey of 1,000 people.
Oh boy.
How often do you change the sheets on your bed?
My God, we just had an argument about that. She comes down the steps with a basket. Says, what the hell are you doing? Oh, I'm changing the bedclothes. Well, why? Because your side stinks. My side stinks.
They're difficult, but we continue to marry them. What goes on here?
How come my side? Well, I don't know, but it stinks. I said, did you smell your side? No. I said, okay.
So how often do you change your sheets? Do you have any idea?
I think she changes them about every 8-10 days.
Okay. Survey says 24 days.
Okay, because we wash usually about every other week. And so,
So now, this particular factoid actually spawned another survey.
10. Okay.
Okay? Single people, how often do they change their bed sheets?
30 days.
37.
37.
Those in relationships, how often?
18.
21.8.
Getting close.
Married couples,
Depends on what kind of the wife you got.
19.9.
I was going to say 14.
That was, yeah.
Now, college students,
Never.
55, 60,
Probably.
until somebody does it for them.
Hey, one thing, one thing here. President Trump is vilified for saying the election was rigged.
Yep.
However, when the media and political parties crawl into bed together to manipulate the news reporting and then get government entities involved into the same bed, that's rigging the election. as far as I'm concerned.
And I see election rigging if you change the votes.
Well, when you get the FBI and the IRS harassing people and the EPA, and you are bombarded with one point of view, be it Fox, the Republicans, or CNN and MSNBC, the Democrats, and the political parties are working with the media and the press, that's rigging as far as I'm concerned. Now, President Trump did not articulate this point very clearly. He said, well, the individual states were corrupt and they did bad things. But I'm saying from the broad point of view.
Yeah, well, philosophical.
Yeah.
But the physical vote has been recapped so many times and done over and over and over and over. To say it was rigged and he lost due to rig is getting to be absolutely ridiculous. Even his own people are saying, shut up.
Yeah, no one wants to hear it anymore.
They don't want to hear it because it's just absurd. And he clings to it and clings to it and clings to it.
Isn't it amazing? No one was fired, replaced, or blamed for the huge screw up in Afghanistan by the Biden administration. Where is the responsibility for this mess? Where's the transparency? Where is our president?
Well, Afghanistan, we'd have to fire just about everybody. And going back into the Trump administration, we'd have to fire a bunch of them, and we'd have to fire a bunch of the Biden people. Trump set the tone.
When he negotiated with the Taliban.
And said, we'll be out of here by the 10th of May or some damn thing.
Yeah.
Well, that just shut everything off. But we weren't. And then it got to the point, and then Biden exasperated it by saying, well, we'll be out of here Tuesday. You know, that just brought everything to a head. But both of those idiots
Yep.
proved our point that there should never be a president that hadn't served at some point in the military. That knew what the hell was going on.
Absolutely.
If you hadn't had a particular responsible position in the military, even if you just went in as a company clerk, at least you know what's going on and you know how things function, how long it takes to do things. But you take these rum nuts like Trump and Biden, they have no idea what's going on.
Maura Healey.
Yeah, any of them.
Yeah, she's right on top of things. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I can the whole bunch of them. 2 kids in a museum in Scotland defaced a painting of King Charles III and then sat down on the floor and glued their hands to the floor.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know about you, but how would you have handled that?
You want to be glued to the floor? Here's a half a gallon of crazy super glue. We'll glue you out of the floor so you're never going to get up.
I would have left them right where they were.
That's right. I would even glued them down a little more.
Yep. 3 days on the floor, no food, no water, and perhaps they'd learn a lesson.
That's right.
We got just enough time to squeeze this one more story in. Cambridge man accused of armed robbery at Saks Fifth Avenue in Boston. 23-year-old guy had a knife and charged with larceny over $1,200. Officers recovered a black knife with a 2-inch blade and merchandise totaling $3,218. The judge set the bail at $750 and ordered him to stay away from Saks Fifth Avenue. Is that insanity or is that insanity?
Our judicial system has turned into insanity, Bill. It's pure insanity.
Accused of armed robbery.
That's right.
Now, this moron, by the way, is homeless or something.
Doesn't matter. To me, that doesn't matter.
No, what I'm saying is maybe he can't afford the $750 bail, but that's only $75 to a bail
It irritates the
bondsman.
living hell out of me when you get an armed robber and he takes a shot at the clerk and misses, and they do not put attempted murder on his.
Absolutely.
Well, he didn't kill anybody or hurt
Absolutely
anybody. He
right.
didn't kill anybody or hurt because he's a lousy shot.
It wasn't because he didn't try.
That's right.
Oh,
We're, on the second section, I want to talk about what's happening now with the youth, like in South Bay.
boy, I'll tell you what, that's right
That
on the,
is dangerous.
that is
very
right on the
dangerous.
top of the
In
list.
the meantime, let's go one. I want
Go ahead.
this is cute or confusing. You lobster eaters out there, you know that this time of year, something happens to lobsters called soft shell. What they're doing, they're molting. They don't grow a shell. They have a shell. They slough it off. They grow a little soft shell over the top, but that's what grows. And lobsters you buy now are soft shell. A lot of restaurants don't take them because inside the lobster, like the claws won't have hardly anything in them. You break them open, they're all water and a little bitty piece of meat in it. And usually they don't say anything about it. When you buy them, the price goes down. Now I know that $7.99 is not cheap by any means, but it is lower than it has been. The grocery store chain here put on new shell. Now I don't know if they think that's a plus or they're being honest.
I think they're being honest.
If they are soft shelled.
Soft shells.
But if they're being honest, you got to give them credit for it, because people are going to go buy and they say, "Whoa, there was hardly anything in that lobster." Now I know some of the places in Maine, they don't release them at this time of year.
Right.
They keep them in tanks until they molted and grew new hard shells, and then they ship them out. Because restaurants get these and they don't want them.
No, they don't want them. They're nothing but a complaint getting set to happen.
That's right. But I thought. I don't think they do this naively. I think they were doing this honestly.
I've got to believe that.
And-
Yeah. Because they do not want to have a whole bunch of complaints.
They called it new shell, but you
Yeah.
know that's soft shell.
Yeah.
And if they're doing it honestly, Market Basket, you get a plus for that.
get a plus.
Get an attaboy for that.
Yep. All right, folks. We've come to the halfway point. So this is where you can go to the powder room, where you get a couple more cans of Miller High Life, or just get up and stretch. And we'll be back in a couple.